Hey there, friends. Welcome to Second Star to the Left, a place where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. I'm Michelle, and I have been playing board games since I was a very small child. We played lots of games. Yes, even that one, but also this one, and 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 even this one. When I finally had kids of my own that I could torture, I scoured all the toy stores looking for games for them to play. I instituted rainy day game days, which I still torture them with even today. So we try to keep that going. We have just always been a gaming family. So when people ask me, when did you first get into this hobby? It's a really hard question to answer. It feels like I've always been playing. My earliest partner, and still one of my favorite gaming partners, is my sister. My sister and I have been playing games together for as long as I can remember, and she remains one of my favorite partners in gaming, although we might get a little too enthusiastic with the take that gaming. It might have actually ended in physical violence when we were younger. But what are sisters for? These days, I most often play games with my daughter Billy. Hi. Who you may or may not see on this channel. However, she's my sounding board, my confidence booster, and she will also be doing any RPG reviews or miniature painting videos that we do along the way. Just to clarify, before the internet leaves me lots of helpful comments, as a slightly obsessed Disney fan, I am well aware that their directions to Neverland are second star to the right and straight on till morning. But I figure we often make a few wrong turns before we find our way, and a lot of the fun that we have is making those wrong turns along the scenic route. That applies to board gaming as well as life in general. So let's just keep working together and eventually we'll get it right. I thought one way for you to get to know me a little better is to tell you about my current favorite game. I say current because by the time I film and edit this, that could easily change. I am very fickle with games. I am way too quick to buy new games, although I am working on that and we do have a challenge set up. We'll get to that later. But I do like to also find my old games, take them off the shelf, and just kind of remember why we played them in the first place. Why New York Zoo? Well, it definitely has the credentials. It's created by Uwe Rosenberg, published by Capstone Games. It only takes about 30 to 45 minutes, which is the sweet spot after a long day at work when everybody's tired but still wants to play something. This game just clicked with me the second I saw it. Maybe because I played hours and hours of Tetris on the original Game Boy back in the day. Maybe because I'm a sucker for zoos and cute animals. But mostly probably because it's a polyomino game, and that is one of my favorite genres. I could definitely say it was any of those reasons that I tried this game. But seriously, Animeeples. Look at the Animeeples! And more importantly, meerkat meeples. Seriously, I mean, come on, meerkats. With all the polyomino games I have, though, why is this one my current favorite? Well, graphics and design definitely are going to play a big part. The old-time traveling circus theme on the drafting board was an immediate draw. It's beautiful. I love good graphic design, and I am a sucker for unique components. I did mention the Animeeples, right? New York Zoo is different than most other polyomino games that we have. On your turn, you draft tiles based on your movement around the track. By choosing how far you want to move, up to 4 spaces, you are not only deciding which tile you would like and which you will keep from your opponent, but also if you're going to choose to add animals to your zoo instead of an enclosure, if you're going to move far enough that you cross a breeding space, which allows the animals in your zoo to make more animals in your zoo. Want more meerkats? There's a space for that. But your choices also deny your opponents the spots that they want by skipping past them. Once you go past them on the board, you have to cycle all the way around before you can get to that space again. A bit of take that is always welcome. Once you fill up an enclosure, you remove all the animals in that enclosure back to the box, except one that you send back to the animal house. And then you choose an attraction to fill in the space on your player mat. Your zoo starts to take shape literally. You're vying for animals, for enclosure tiles and attractions, but most of all, at its heart, New York Zoo is a race game. There's no fiddly scoring mechanisms to puzzle out at the end. It's a race to fill your player board. Because of that, you can watch your opponent's board, you can see what they need, you can try to keep them from getting what they need, and you can keep yourself in the lead if you make the right choices. I would imagine that some people might play this without the take that element, or at least not focused so much on it. And in that case, it might play a lot more like a solitaire race game. And I can understand why that might not be for everyone. I still would like the puzzle of it. There's very little downtime because turns are flying by. There are a lot of shared actions, especially if you play it 2-player, which is primarily how we have played it. The artwork by Felix Wormka is beautiful. The components are some of the best and most enchanting that you'll see, short of Beeples. I'm looking at you, Honey Buzz. And the gameplay has just enough strategy to be a light game, but still have some puzzly choices. As far as cost goes, considering the piles and piles of animeeples that come in this game, the price is extremely reasonable. It takes up an average amount of space on the shelves, no giant box, which is important if, like me, you have limited space for your games. It's quick to set up once you get the hang of it. My only complaint would be that the setup iconography on the movement track takes a little getting used to. There's not much difference between the dark greens, the kind of dark greens, the medium greens, the light greens, the lighter greens. Once you realize that the tiles are actually sorted by number of spaces that they cover, that gets much easier and setup is very quick. We usually play at 2 players, but at 3 or 4, this would play just as well. I actually really enjoy the solo mode as well. It is a simple race against the game. You either win or the game beats you. You have 5 numbered tiles, 0 through 4, and on your turn you choose one of those numbers and move that many spaces on the board. The trick here is that you can't reuse a number until you've used all 5. So you have to make your decisions in advance so you don't get stuck moving across a space that you would have used. If you get around the board twice and you haven't filled in your park, then you lose. If you fill up your whole zoo before you get around twice, then you win. It's simple. Apparently, I haven't won yet, so we'll see. When I'm looking at whether or not a game is a good game for me, replayability is a factor. But the question isn't really, can I play it a number of times and will it get stale, but will I play it a number of times? And is it too much of a pain to set up? Do I need a high player count? And all of these things mean I may or may not get it to the table. Will I bring it out if I have guests? Is it something that will bring in non-gamers or new gamers? For us, New York Zoo hits the table frequently. Setup is quick once you know how to do it. You sort the pieces by size and color. The insert is pretty good. It's nothing fancy, but it holds all the pieces and keeps them organized. There's a nice little tray that pops out for the animeeples. It isn't a long game, coming in at 30 to 45 minutes, and there are still some nice choices to be made. New York Zoo is a favorite here at our zoo. I'd love to hear what you think of it. Thanks for watching my first video. I feel extremely lucky to have already made so many friends in this space before I even started. I just want to share this hobby and what we love about it. If you liked this video, or if you just want to keep watching until I get one right, then please like, subscribe, share. Until next time, open tables, open minds, and play your shelves.